皆さん毎度エボ日本語のエボニーです。Hey y'all! 今回の動画はですね、実は日本語でじゃなくて英語でやりたいなと思っていて、日本人の方がご覧になっていたら字幕を入れたので参考してくださいね。では、英語タイム now! If you saw the thumbnail, this video is for those who are thinking of visiting Japan just in the near future, if not this year. And I just wanted to talk about just some opinions about Japan travel that have been circulating around the web, like give my thoughts on them, and wanted to reassure travelers come to Japan that some of the opinions that are circulating on the net, like they don't need to be worried about to an extreme. But first, just a little bit about me and my Japan background. I have been living in Japan for almost 2.5 years, and I came to Japan 3 times for vacation. So once in 2017 and twice in 2018, and then I officially moved here in fall of 2022. Before I begin, I just want to say that some of my opinions may come off as controversial. Hopefully I don't piss people off or like hurt feelings in the process. If I do, I apologize. My opinions are mine and mine alone. They do not represent my workplace or any workplace I have ever been affiliated with, nor do they represent any school that I have ever attended. With that out the way, let's get the show on the road. Okay, this is talked about all the time. The need to conform to society. So Japanese society is a very conformist society. Harmony is emphasized so much in Japanese culture, like getting along with one another, not really sticking out from the crowd, being on one accord is a big thing here. Those who do stick out from the crowd, those who want to be individualistic.
Why did it take me so long to say that word?
They're looked down upon here, and foreigners get looked at weird here when they visit. With all that said, there are some things that I wanted to hit on first. Eating on the train or eating while walking in public. So you're not supposed to eat on the train. You're not really supposed to be eating while walking in public because it's just rude. Like, you're really supposed to be thinking about being considerate of those around you. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've done both of those, but I've been considerate about it. Regarding the eating while walking in public, I'm having to walk and eat. Like, I just don't have time to stand or sit, in one of those konbini sit down areas and eat my food. Like, when you're a busy person, like, you gotta eat and go. So sometimes it has to be done. But then eating on the train though, when I do eat on the train, I would like get in like a corner near the train doors and like kind of just like hide and like eat. And then furthermore, the food that I do eat, it's not fragrant, it's not messy. It's usually something simple like a rice ball or like a pastry. And I don't eat on a crowded train. I'm not saying copy after me, but I'm not saying like just totally break the rules. If you need to eat on the train, especially for my folks that might have low blood sugar and you need to eat more often so that way you don't faint, don't put your health, at risk just because society tells you to. You need to look after yourself first.
I gotta put me first.
Japanese will also sometimes be eating on the train too. I've been around Japanese people that have like a bag of chips on the train. I've seen Japanese people drink alcohol on the train. Sigh. And speaking of being on the train, not talking on the train, you have to play this one by ear. If you're on a dead quiet train, nobody's talking, we're all playing on our phones, just talk softly. If you're like shouting, like say talking at the volume that I'm talking, you're too loud. But I will say that Japanese people, sometimes they'll be talking loud on the train. As much as people will tell you to conform to society, Japanese people will also break rules too. If you don't take anything else away from what I'm saying, be respectful of the people around you. Next, dressing conservatively. So Japanese people, they dress really conservatively. They don't really show boobs, they don't show butt. Even in summer, they tend to stay covered up. But the ones that want to show the boob and the butt, they will. I've seen some Japanese girls wear some promiscuous stuff here.
Promiscuous.
If you're here during winter, well, you're gonna be dressing conservatively anyways. But like, Japanese summers are hot. So wear what you want to wear. If you want to wear booty shorts here, if you want to wear a tank top, that's fine. You need to look after yourself in this hot summer heat. But I just want to close off this section by saying, please don't push yourself to conform to Japanese society. You do not live here, you're just traveling here. I want y'all to enjoy your vacation because Japan is such a lovely country, and I don't want y'all to have a sour taste in your mouth just because, oh, I had to do this. You don't have to do it to the full extent of Japanese people or foreign residents. At the end of the day, you need to look after yourself and your own well-being. And I think that's something that Japanese society could improve upon. Just think about these things as you're planning your trip and once you get here. Next up is Tokyo is overwhelming AF. A lot of people that come to Japan, they come to Tokyo. They spend a lot of their time, if not all of their time in Tokyo, which is fine.
It's actually not fine. Y'all should come to my city, Yokohama, or even go west to like Kyoto or Osaka.
But I just want y'all to know, it gets insane here. Keep in mind that the greater Tokyo area, so Tokyo and the surrounding prefectures, this is the most crowded area in the world, according to Wikipedia. Be prepared for all the crowds in Tokyo. Be prepared to get pushed and shoved without necessarily hearing sumimasen, excuse me, or gomen nasai, or sorry. It's not that Japanese people are rude. It's just that you get used to like all these people being in your way and like having to navigate through crowds of people. So if we were to say excuse me or sorry every time, we would be saying it way too often. So just know that you might feel a little push, shove. Don't feel like you need to like backlash. Just keep it moving, just keep walking straight. It's not that serious. Speaking of crowds, contrary to like America and some Western countries, Japanese people don't really start conversations with you on the street. They're a very shy people. You would think, how can a whole race of people be shy? This is something that's still on my mind 2.5 years later. They're not even gonna like smile at you. Like if you make eye contact with someone in America, they'll be like, kind of thing. No, Japanese, their resting bitch face is so strong. I've always had resting bitch face, but since moving here, it's gotten so stronger. Ugh. Some Americans will complain about that, and I'm like, this is just how Japanese people are. Understand that, but no, they're very kind people. I've had Japanese people come up to me, you know, if I look lost and be like, you need help? Like, is everything okay? So they're kind, but just know they're not gonna like smile at you or like start friendly conversations with you. And finally, this is something I think that comes from a lot of non-Asian tourists. You will get stared at. Some people, they take this staring a little bit personal, and I can understand why, because like I can only speak for Americans, but we are raised to not stare at others. Like we are taught that it's rude, but Japanese people stare at people. Tourists will come here and be like, oh, that's so rude, like, oh, why are they doing that? I would say like try not to pay too much mind to it. One way to alleviate that is to, while you're walking, just keep looking forward. Have your eyes on the prize, just look straight ahead. For my ladies, creepy older guys here will stare at you. The way I suggest to alleviate that is return the look with a... Sometimes you just gotta return the energy. But yes, that's the end of that section. Just a few other things about traveling in Japan. This is the last section of this video. Trains will be late. People love to say, oh my god, Japanese trains are so on time. They're not always on time. Even if you're here for like 3 weeks to a month, some of your trains will be late, and it can really put you off. When I go to work or when I'm meeting up with friends, I will take a early enough train so that way I can still make it to my function or work on time. But there have been times that I've done that and I still end up being late. And it's a real inconvenience. So I don't want y'all coming here and be like, oh my god, they're all on time. They're not all on time, babes. So plan accordingly. In comparison to train systems in other countries, I do applaud like Japanese train systems in general for being on time, but just know Japanese trains are not 100% perfect. Like you probably will have a late train. Next, cleanliness is overrated here in Japan. A lot of people will say, oh my god, Japan is so clean, it's not dirty at all, it's like barely no trash. Bruh. I'll insert some videos or like pictures or whatever from like areas around Japan that are just like litter everywhere, and it's disgusting. Yes, in comparison to most cities, Japan is very clean. But like, prepare yourself to see dirty parts of Japan. Not everywhere is clean. Next is, there are trash cans. A lot of people say, oh, there's no trash cans. There are trash cans here. You just gotta know where to look. You don't always have to take your trash home with you. Honestly, I don't ever take my trash home with me. It's very, very rare. So look in like konbini. Like some konbinis have like trash cans. And don't feel like it's a crime to walk in and throw your trash in konbini. But yes, trash cans will be found on train platforms or in train stations. They're not gonna be out on the street in abundance, but you just gotta know where to look. Next is no soap and towels in public bathrooms. Seeing a lot of people complain about this and be like, oh my god, it's so unhygienic. It's because you're supposed to carry your own. I'm gonna show you mine that I carry. This is my hand towel. It's technically a handkerchief, but look at her. Isn't she so cute? And I also have this like paper soap. The paper soap becomes white like soap bubbles once you put them under water. It's probably Japan's way of just being environmentally friendly. You can get a handkerchief and like some of that paper soap at Daiso, a 100 yen store here, and be prepared to carry that around while you're here in Japan. The last thing that I want to say in this video before the end, for anything Japan advice related, whether it's traveling here, whether it's living here, make sure y'all are using reliable sources. And when I say reliable sources, what do I mean? There are a number of people on the net that like to give life in Japan advice or traveling in Japan advice, and they've never stepped foot in this country. That makes me so annoyed. Honestly, you can look to me for Japan advice. There are so many other YouTubers that currently live here that you can look to for Japan advice. So that's just something I wanted y'all to consider when planning a trip to Japan. And okay, those are all the things that I want to touch on in this video. If you have any questions about anything that I said, or if you would like to start a discussion about any of this, I would love to talk with y'all in the comments. Please feel free to do so. If you've had any experiences regarding the things that I've said here in Japan, I would love to hear those too, and I'll be waiting on your comments. With that said, I'm gonna switch back to Japanese to do my outro. この動画が良かったなとか面白かったなと思っていたら、高評価お願いします。いいねお願いします。そしてご登録よろしくお願いします。では最後までご視聴ありがとうございました。次の動画でまたお会いしましょう。またね、バイバーイ。